Wake it gamer, it's your boy June. You are now listening to Junne with June, the best fucking podcast in the universe. Another episode, Junne with June, the best podcast on the universe. We got a special guest today.
Hey, what's up? My name is Maahez. I'm a producer, DJ, and crazy motherfucker.
Do it all.
Yeah. Yo, what up? I'm Tie-Dye. I'm also a DJ, producer, fucking party animal, content creator.
Yeah.
Yo, what's going on? I'm AX. I am I'm the behind the scenes these days. I started off as an artist, producer, all that. But these days, I'm managing. I own a record label and a recording studio. So I'll help out artists these days.
So we got a lot of great energy in here. How did y'all all come apart? You know what I mean? How did y'all meet?
Shit, well, he was actually one of the first people I met when I first moved to LA from Miami. So I lived in Miami for 10 years.
You moved to LA over Miami? You picked LA?
10 years in Miami. You trust me, you don't want to do something there.
10 years anywhere. You're like, yo, so, now you know what you're doing.
So I get to LA. One of the first people I met is Tie-Dye. He's over there running the nightlife in LA, you know, and running the clubs and all that crazy stuff. So we linked up, we tapped in, and it was actually a couple years later when we really like got into music. And you know, he was working out at NRG Studio, shout out NRG, and he's like, yo, slide through, and we just connected. On a music level, and then started doing a lot of collaborations, which are going to be coming out really soon. And yeah, man, the story goes on from there.
So how did you start producing and DJing and stuff like that? What made you want to do that?
Shit, man, I'm fourth generation musician in my family, so it's kind of like I had no choice. I didn't have toys growing up. I had instruments, so I played piano, I played guitar, I played drums. It was always something like second nature to me. So I really started getting into music production at like 13, 14. And, never really stopped. And here we are, Latin Grammy nomination. We got a couple platinum records. Now focusing more on my artist project, which is electronic dance music project as a DJ with the festivals and all that fun stuff. So that's where the collabs with Tie-Dye come in, and we're doing a lot of crossovers, man. We're working with a lot of hip hop artists, bringing them into the EDM world,
kind of like how Marshmello does.
Exactly.
That's crazy. How'd you start, making music?
It's a funny story because like before I got into I started DJing before I started making music, before I got into DJing, I was I started when I was like 19, 20. I was like running all the the nightlife in Hollywood. I had moved out here from I just started a modeling a model house out in LA. Nice. And got an investor. We had a big Snapchat. It was popping. Yeah. But then my partners and I it failed. We blew through the money. It was fun. It was 6 months of just craziness. We had a house in the hills. It was nuts. Yeah. And then after that, I kind of had to figure out what I was gonna do. And I knew a lot of girls and stuff, so I used to just work in the clubs. I'd bring out 40 girls. I'd fill up the nights. It was nuts. So
kind of promoters.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was classic Hollywood. In the life I was.
You got all the ladies. You the guy, man, in LA.
It was crazy back in the day. Honestly, just nonstop. I was working 7 days a week, going out and bringing hordes of girls, hordes, 30 to 40. And so naturally from doing that, you meet a lot of people, you rub shoulders with a lot, you take care of a lot of people because, it was more in promoting. It was hospitality, it was nightlife hosting, for big clientele, the whole thing. So then I did that for a few years, met a lot of artists because they were my clients. They'd come out with me, some DJs. Yeah. And I was always really into the rave scene and stuff like that. And then I knew AX because...
That's where you find the best woman.
But they're toxic. None of them are wifey.
That's another discussion.
But I was after a while, you kind of want to get out. I didn't want to do that forever. And I met AX, and he's one of the people that would come out with me and I'd take care of. And he's popping in music, and I was like, yo, bro, I really want to do music. I really want to do this. Can you manage me? And he's like, all right, what can you do? I was like, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people. I'm like, I'm dancing. People they like me, you know. I'll make funny videos and shit. And then he's like, I was like, I kind of want to DJ. He's like, can you DJ? And I was like, no, but like, I'll go learn. It's like, I can't do it, but I'll do it. I couldn't do it at all. Like, so I went, and my friend, like, he's trying to push me to DJ for like months. And he's like, for your birthday, I'll pick you up, I'll teach you, and I'll drop you off. I'm like, all right. So he teaches me. I come back maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks later. I'm like, yo, AX, like, I could DJ. And he's like, all right, like you know, for sure.
I was like, he really wants it. I was like,
and he's like, all right, well,
you know, bro, it's been 10 days.
He's like, put in some,
the whole board.
Yeah, he's like, put in a little, you know, work, maybe try and get like a gig or whatever. And like, you know, like I knew a lot of club owners, so a couple days later, maybe a week, I'm like, all right, I got a gig at the Avalon Theater in Hollywood, and he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, like I'll come through, practice, whatever. So I'm practicing my neighbors, I'm getting it all together, and like I went and then did the gig. It was fire.
Killed it.
People came out, they like got tickets. He was like, what? Before he even could get home, like literally while I'm in the Uber, my editor already edited it and filmed the whole night. Edited and sent. So then I sent it to him before he even got home. The whole thing. He edited it. He literally filmed, went home, edited it, sent to me before, and like within like 2 hours. So I sent it to him, and by then he's like, okay, bet, like let's do this. And then like, you know, from then like I started getting a lot of like DJ gigs, like out of festival stuff. But then like I hit like a ceiling. I was like, I'm not really gonna make it to where I really want to be unless I'm like making my own music. And that's when I like hammered down. I met Maahez like maybe like a year later going into that, and like he's been doing this and producing a lot longer than I have. Like I have music theory background, like playing piano and stuff growing up, so that really helped. But like, you know, to have like being in the studio, and AX gave me the opportunity with owning the studio to be in the studio and just like work as much as I could every day. So like between like the team, my friends like helping me and get on the floor, finding my sound, like I was able to like take that hiatus and like transition that into, you know, the whole thing.
Big facts. Dang, that's major. So you're with a label, right?
I've worked with major labels, but I'm not signed to anybody right now. I'm actually with no label, no management.
Why is that?
No agent.
Why is that?
I'm starting from scratch. I'm doing a cleanse.
I was about to say, did you have some bad experiences?
I think everybody that eventually achieves greatness in the music industry or point blank entertainment industry goes through like the worst. So,
it's the industry.
It's just you know, I think it's a lesson learned. I did go through a really, I would say, interesting experience, because I feel like as long as you learn from your experiences is all wins, you know. So it's just part of the journey, and now like I have full control of my career. I'm glad I'm not working with people that were holding me back. And I feel great, you know. I have the vision is clear, and the goals are set, so we're working towards it, and I feel great, man. I did go through a pretty hard time at the beginning of the year, you know, depression and all, but you know, that's is part of it, you know. So you gotta embrace it.
How did you get over that? For people that actually go through it, what's
I want this to inspire people that are going through similar experiences, man, because at the end of the day, like it's all in your mind, bro. So even if you get fucked over by people, or you know, people try to take advantage of you or stuff like that, you know, you always that actually gave me the strength to go 10 times harder. Because they try to stop me. They're going to try to stop you. They're going to, like Khaled says, they don't want to see you win. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, like to find people that are like that, and it's just part of the game, man. So you got to learn how to maneuver in these waters, and just, you know, just get through the bullshit and rise above and just keep going, man. You got to keep going. and that actually like just inspired me to go 10 times harder and to just say nothing's gonna stop me. I'm just gonna keep going, like whatever I'm going through shit right now. But you know, and look now, like doors are starting to open up, opportunities are starting to fall on my lap. Why? Because I just stayed positive and I just kept going, man. So
didn't give up.
So that's why
Kept going,
You get what you put in, honestly.
Yeah. And then
100%.
you know, also seeing tie-dye NRG there, like posting Instagram stories, I'm like, man, this kid's really putting in work. Let me see what he got going on over there. And then AX like put us together in the studio, and we were able. We found a lot of synergy there with everything that I was working on and what he was working on.
It's hard to get like a sound
So,
similarity, you know, especially when you like work with people.
So and even though we got independent brands, like he's his own brand and my own brand, but we have a lot of collaborations. I believe I love doing collaborations. Different genres, like I said, I aim to be the king of crossovers. So you know, we're doing Latin stuff, we're doing hip-hop, we're doing EDM, and we're putting it all together, you know. So
I feel like we got a lot of the inspiration too, because during a little like after COVID, towards like the tail end of when quarantine was ending, I came back from Kauai, and me and Maahez, like we got in the studio and we met these kids, like these two like really talented rappers, this kid Keith Lawson and San, and like one's with Columbia, signed to Columbia, and we met him and like chopped it up. And then I think me and AX were at like a party, and like I was like, yo, you gotta meet these kids, they're tight. And then they knew a studio because they actually recorded there. So then like next thing you know, like we're in the studio to make music, me, Maahez, and then we ended up like, you know, doing one record for them. We're hearing like how they sound, and we're like, whoa, this is crazy. And like, I'm not even lie, like we all took like mushrooms, like we took these like microdoses when we did it, and like
10 days straight.
Which literally I feel like it went from
10
one
days.
song to 10 days locked in the studio. Me and him didn't leave. Like me maybe left like a couple times, like go home and like change.
We only went home to shower. We actually didn't shower for like 2 days.
Yeah, but there are days like 2-3 days.
We were
so locked in.
It was a crazy experience. I actually, it's one of the longest sessions I've ever done in my life. It was 10 days
10
straight.
days
like,
straight.
Like the Drake and Future album.
He would go to sleep. I would wake up, because then at one point, because
2
we were
hour,
both
3
like,
hour
we'd be
naps.
off on like sleeping schedules. So
the-
I'd go in, he'd go in, and
The only person that does that in my studio is Future. So,
that's
you
what I
know,
was
where they
gonna
lock
say.
everything out and go. Even I did Beyonce's last 2 projects, and so you know that nobody does that. I literally, and you know, I'm one of the highest paid studios in the world, if not the highest. I'm the go-to for Sony.
What studio is that?
NRG Recording Studios.
Nice.
We do every major artist in the game comes to me after.
What was
they
it like
made
creating a studio, like just in general? What was the process of
Bro,
getting that? And then
I
getting
had
it
to make the decision of having 3 rooms and being like, yo, you know what? I'm just gonna take a hit here right now and not book this room out.
Exactly.
And because that's how much I believed in these guys and their project. They blew me away. They went in there and I caught the vibe, and I was like, whoa.
Major.
Whoa.
yeah, so like that project,
You
like
guys stay in here. And they wrapped it in about I would
the
say 10
synergy was
days.
crazy. Everybody who came into that room, like I swear, I feel like we created like a vortex in that room, like because of all the energy. Like literally anyone who came in there,
And
they would
looks
hop
like
into
Junnie
the
and Bob were in
project,
there,
and
the
like
aesthetics.
it would be like insane. Like we were like, what did we just make? And like, but mind you, me and Maahez are both like, we're house DJs, like we're EDM, we're in the festival scene, like so for us to be like in the studio creating this crazy hip hop album was like major and inspirational, which like totally shifted like where we wanted to go with like our sound and house, and which really
Has this
like
out yet?
no, it's not out.
So this is this the new project you're working on?
We pretty much made a whole album in 10 days. We actually have a meeting pending to just kind of finalize everything and figure out when we're gonna put it out, when we're gonna drop it. These kids are literally blowing up right now, so we're definitely creating a wave. The project sounds really unique, and it was amazing. I'm super stoked to finally get a release date going on. And
they're involved in like several projects right now.
But like from like doing hip hop, like we're like, yo, like why don't we? Because we're working with all these artists. I feel like a lot of EDM and like house artists, they don't have the opportunity to work with like people in the hip hop industry, because like they're in 2 different worlds. You know, like it doesn't happen. You know,
Rodney switches over a little bit.
But like Marshmallow is really like the only segue that's given people
DJ
this
Snake,
opportunity. Maybe DJ Snake, he's had it, but other than that, like it's a very like tiny market. And we realized that, like, we realized from like these vocals and different stuff that we had, like, that were like, yo, like, let's take these vocals and like make original house songs, you know. And like we created like a sick sound because of it. And I feel like the session we did for 10 days really like inspired that with like, because we're like,
they can do this.
Flow, yeah, we can do this. We can work with these artists. They like it, you know, and it gives them opportunity to be in our world too, because we're like like all these like a lot of rappers, they would never just go to like a festival or rave in front of like a crowd with 50,000 or 100,000 or 400,000 people, like to rave music. You know, it's just like it's not something that they're gonna go after, you know. But they funk with it because the energy is nuts, bro. And to be on stage and everyone's going crazy and there's fire and fireworks, everyone's on ball.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
it's just different, you know.
It's a whole different vibe. Yeah, it's a whole different vibe,
and we want to cross promote that.
They have a niche here, right? There's less competition. How many producer DJs are actual festival DJs? Not that many. And then how many of them get to come at a studio like mine? Like all the biggest hip hop artists literally work out of my studio. So I was like, yo, I gotta put these kids in a position, and now they have a niche, and everybody wanna fuck with it, and they're dope. So
it's fun.
You know, the music
creating a wave. That's all.
That's the hardest thing, you know. Really, like for any artist, you know, like you really got to put in that work with like just creating, because you got to develop like that sound, you know, because like you don't want to sound like everybody else, you know. You got to create your original sound. What's gonna like stand out in this like huge populated market of like everyone doing the same shit, like, you know. And I mean, I feel like very grateful and happy to like have, you know, found that sound with Maahez and creating that at the Studio AX and our team to like create that. And like I implore like all artists like and DJs, and because we did a lot of different sounds before we figured out we want to do this. We made like some tech house, some deep shit, like some radio stuff, and we're like, oh, is this it? I don't know if this is like it, but like
trial and error.
But when you do it, you feel it, and you're like, this is it. This is like, and you only get that from just like nonstop, just keep creating.
Best advice I can give any artist and producer is stop chasing the hit. Stop chasing what you think it's supposed to sound like. Because as an artist and a producer, it's the tracks that you don't expect.
That's what I never get.
It's the one because, bro, you have to have your original sound. You have to have something that stands out, that defines you. And when you stop chasing the hit, stop chasing the dream of what it's supposed to sound like, and you focus on yourself and your energy and put that into it, is when you'll develop as an artist. And everybody will grab it.
And another thing I think too is when people make music, they are so focused on what they like instead of just studying the top 100 and try to. Here's a reason why that's on the top 100. You know what I mean? So it's like people like, oh, this is what I like. You know, sometimes you'll have hip hop artists that are so used to rapping, you know, lyrical or this and that, but that's not the wave no more. You know what I mean?
They love that acoustic and like it
you know what I mean?
I mean, that's a formula that definitely works. Studying
there's people that actually study.
You gotta really like listen and keep your ears out to what's hitting the top 10s, whether if it's on Billboard
and then put your own stuff in your own songs.
As long as you have fun with it, you gotta have fun with it. If you're not having fun,
I call that referencing.
You know?
Literally,
like from the mixers to the producers, they're like, hey, what do you want to? Who are your influences? What are you missing on your project? What would you like it to sound? They reference everybody that's great references to something that's.
Yeah, something inspires you.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Something definitely. There's an inspiration. Then you like translate that into.
Yeah,
like what you're going for, you know.
So you used to live in Miami, right? Correct? Yep. Or do you still go down there every now and then?
I mean, I haven't been down there in a minute, but it's always been like a back and forth, LA and Miami.
Was it tougher to make it in Miami than it was LA?
Miami's growing so much right now that I feel like it's basically there's a lot of connections. If you're not in LA, you're in Miami or New York, you know. But there's definitely some weird connection between LA and Miami. So many people are going back and forth. It's just like two.
I think people come out here, you know, when the summer's over. You know what I mean? People come out here, and when the summer is starting. You go to Miami.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have some insight on that. It wasn't until I went to Miami that I realized, these guys really party like nonstop. They don't sleep. I was like, yo, this is how you got. I was stuck in a club, and I'm like, yo, are they not gonna kick us out?
Space.
I'm like, we're not leaving. They're like, no, bro.
That's 24 hours.
Yeah, they got this club
Space.
like during Miami Music Week. It
11,
opens on
11.
Friday.
It opened on Thursday night.
And 11.
Crazy, 24 hours.
They open it Thursday and it close Monday.
You show up with a
Space.
coffee and you just start drinking like 24 hours is like crazy.
My buddy tells me, I'm like, are you insane? This is how you guys do it? He goes, yeah. I was like, whoa, I thought we did it in LA. He goes, no. Why do you think when I come to LA, I come to chill? I'm like, what? He goes, when you see me in LA and we party, that's me chilling, getting away from Miami. That's when I knew. I was like, yo, there are different beasts here in Miami.
Party.
I feel like
capital of
LA
the
is
world.
the place where people like create and like get
Bro, this was
get
his
shit
rehab.
done, and then people go to Miami to like artists come here, they make a bunch of music, they get everything ready, they go to Miami, they like execute it, like they make sure people hear it, they're on the scene, like you know.
Miami's popping.
I gotta say, there's a lot of hits coming out of Miami too.
Are there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When in the studio, what's the process of making music?
When in the studio, what's the process?
Get high. It's like the first
Roll up.
roll a joint.
First thing, definitely roll up some gas, and from there, I just kind of have fun, man. There's really not a specific process like that. It's just,
Some
it's
people
just
gotta light the candles. You know what
I mean,
incense.
there's always gotta be a vibe. You know, you want to be in you want to be in an environment where you feel like inspired and relaxed and comfortable, and also just kind of going off of what I feel in the moment. I was just be in the moment, and I don't really think about it too much. I feel like sometimes creatives like try to overthink it too much, and then they get stuck. Producer, writer's block, all that. So I just be in the present moment, and I have fun. That's it. Like I'm just here to have fun, and I just let things flow.
exactly.
And whatever comes out, shit, you know, if it works,
being
it works.
a big DJ, what's the biggest crowd you performed in front of?
Oof. That's a tough one, because when I played EDC Mexico right before the pandemic, it was a pretty massive crowd where I could not see the end of it. But also in Bogota, Colombia, Mexico is a huge crowd. Especially EDC, I think it's like 500,000 people in the whole festival.
What's that like to control that crowd? Because a DJ has a bigger responsibility than an artist. You know,
You're setting the vibe for real.
Like you make the vibe. There, as an artist hits the stage, you always inquire the DJ.
I mean, the greatest feeling is to create something in the studio and then go and play it live for a massive crowd of people, which sometimes they haven't even heard it. You know, so a lot of DJs that test their songs, at these festivals before they even come out. So just being able to interact with the crowd with music that they've never heard before, and it's something that I created, and it creates an amazing connection between me and the crowd, and that's really what I do this shit for, like seeing that reaction from the people when the beat drops, and just making a lot of music that interacts with the crowd. So just things that could incorporate in the music that makes the crowd do something all together at the same time, so they all come together in unison, in sync. And
what's your ritual when you go? Like before you start, you got something that when you go, let's say you are DJing, whatever the case, and you forget something or forget to press something, because that's like a big responsibility. How do you make up for that? How do you keep replace the error if you made something?
There's no such thing, man.
So
There's no such thing as an error during my set. Yeah, I can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've made mistakes, like pretty bad mistakes.
Well, everybody's like, yo, what was that?
But then again,
not too bad to like interrupt the just minor things that happen because maybe the CDJs are not working properly, or there's technical difficulties, or even the microphone runs out of batteries, so I have to the stage manager, I need another mic, stuff that's always you gotta be prepared for everything. But I mean, you always gotta pull it off somehow. You just gotta make sure you go up there, put up a show, and you know, give the crowd what they want and not mess up. You can't afford to mess up because that's you know that's.
I actually have like. It was pretty funny as EDC Orlando. Like I had a set and the whole thing like where we were staying was like 30 minutes, 45 minutes away from the venue. Like, for starters, I was like, who the fuck booked this fucking stupid Airbnb so far? And then, like, we couldn't get Ubers. Like, mind you, just, like, the whole thing, we're pressed for time now because, like, an Uber got there, canceled. We had to wait, like, a whole nother 20 minutes for him to get there.
Why they cancel tie-dye?
Oh, I walked out holding. I had like 2 beers in this hand and like 2 beers in this hand, and then I dropped the cans, but they didn't open. But like the dude was just like, "Nah, this ain't it," and skirts off in front of us.
50-minute wait.
Left. 50 minutes, bro, before EDC Orlando.
Can't even talk to him.
So I get finally. Let's just like flash. I get there. There's like 5 minutes to my set. I'm sprinting through. It's dumping rain, and I'm sprinting. It's dumping rain. I'm sprinting. I'm like, yo, security, just let me through. Boom. Okay, I have to find the stage. I get there. I'm finally there. I get there. This person's playing. So I'm there. Like I said, it's dumping rain out. I have the CDJs. It's like an outdoor stage. So the dude's like, I'm like. So I go to play. One of them's just like not working. The whole deck is fried, water destroyed. So here I am on this set that I like plan and like I'm ready to do, and I'm having to play a song off one side. So that means like when the song ends, like you can't really mix in another song. It just ends. So I'm like, fuck, bro, this is crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? And this is like for like a solid 10 minutes. So I'm like literally like putting the effects on so the song like echoes out while I like try and get another song. I'm like, yo, I'm just playing some new songs I'm working on. Finally, like they come in, they like swap them out. Dude's like holding the tarp. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Like, this is my set. And then like I swear it was like a godsend. Suddenly they brought the other deck. I start my set like all over. I'm like, fuck it. Like, let me just like cue the few new songs, whatever. The sun clears up. The rain stops.
Oh, it was like a moment like, all right, now
the crowd's there. I'm like, oh my God, it's lit. And I'm like playing my set, and I was like, 15 minutes of my set will be gone. Then like the person after me, they were late. So then like they got on. Then my friend gets on. He had done this, like, I guess, this drug called ketamine. So I just finished my set there on the set. We're going back to back. Suddenly he, like, looks at me and he's like this on me and, like, leaning. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, are you good? Like, and I think he's messed up. And, like, next thing you know, like, he just starts getting all his hands just going like this, like just hitting the buttons like randomly, like it's a spaceship. And like literally I had to take over his whole set, so I ended up getting like 2 hours, which was fire. But like it was like anything can happen, honestly. Like you have to play on one deck and you just gotta like roll with it, happens. You know. Like
how do you face rejection?
You just gotta
because like, in this industry, you know, everybody got their
rejections all the time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, rejection's like a really like constant thing, honestly, but. Especially when you're first starting, but you honestly just gotta like flow with it. Like, especially if it has to do rejection in your music, you gotta like have the confidence that like you know that what you made and what you're doing is good, and believe that, and not let people just be like, yo, this ain't it or whatever, and then think that your material and what you're working on sucks. Like, because you gotta believe in that, and you gotta like know how to just take the punches and like take what you know might be able something like a key or something that you can learn from that, and then like keep doing you. Like no one knows what like well people do know. Constructive criticism is good, but like you know what your vision is, and you know like what it is that you're trying to execute, and you can't let people just come in and just shit all over what you're working for and then just take that to heart, you know? Like you gotta have that like confidence in yourself, you know?
That right there. Don't take nothing personal. Don't take nothing personal in this industry.
Cause they funny.
And don't and don't put so much attention or don't hold so much weight on rejection. Like just you got rejected. All right, on to the next one. Don't even put time into like thinking about I got rejected. Like on to the next thing, and then the next thing, and And you can get a million rejections and just keep going to the next one. Eventually, you're gonna get that yes.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
The
that's
most
just what it is.
Yeah.
the most important thing I can say to everybody who has a dream, there is no time limit on a dream. It's your
Facts.
dream.
Facts.
The only time your dream dies is when you quit, when you give up. Every major person I've ever talked to is because they didn't quit. They just
They didn't
going.
quit.
That's it. You just got to keep going.
I always try to remember this. I think it's right. I'll double check it after I say it. But 99.9% of the whole entire planet could hate you. 99.9% of the whole planet could hate you. That still leaves 70 million people that will fuck with you.
So there's a chance.
So like that's still like 70 million people that could still like
gotta find your
fuck
fan.
with you. And honestly,
That's-
70
I'll
million,
take
that's
that. I'll take
viral
that.
still.
Yeah,
That's
I'll take
still
that.
viral.
That's a lot of people.
You have
That's a lot of
70
people.
million fucking plays on Spotify or Apple Music. You're killing it. Like, so you gotta remember that, you know? Everyone's gonna be a hater, like, but if you like stay true and you be a good person and like be passionate about what you are, people will feed off that passion. They'll see how much you're passionate. You could go up on stage, because I've seen it. Not even just like, I mean, I play good music, but I've seen terrible DJs get up and play and not be good at all, but they're up there bringing the energy, like they're making it fun as fuck. They're doing it and they're performing, and as a result, people love it. They had a good time, even if the music isn't even that good. They still had fun and they still fuck with you because like it's your energy and like what you put into that, you know?
Exactly.
You can't just like a lot of people, even my own friends, I see this every day, like or peers, people that I consider like people I fuck with, that I do things for and stuff. Like LA is like one of the only places where someone will not fuck with you and not want you to win and walk up to you and dap you up and be like, oh, what up, dude? Like, what you up to on the fakest shit ever, like ever. Yeah. And like a lot of people want to see you, like want to see people who are doing it and putting in work. They want to see their downfall a lot more. They want to see them fucking crash and burn, and that's just how it is. And you gotta like, that's why you are who you hang out with. You're only as good as your team. Like you gotta have people around you that support you the way that you support and love yourself. And that's the only way, because there's gonna be all this other white noise and dumb smoke and mirrors all over the place. But like, you gotta just stay true to like your sound, what you believe in, what you put all this hours and time and like work into. Look at your vision, your future, and be like, 100%. That is the goal. Nothing else is going to stop me from that. We're on a spaceship that's going up, and once that rocket takes off, nothing's stopping that rocket.
Facts, agreed.
It's going to hit the atmosphere and it's going to go to space and it's going to do what it meant to do.
Exactly.
No matter what. So you just got to keep holding on. You got to hold on to that ship and not let go.
You heard that, man. Junnin with Junne, the best podcast on the universe.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all coming out. Y'all always welcome back. Thank you.
Wake your game up. It's your boy Junne. You are now listening to Junnin with Junne, the best fucking podcast in the universe.
Alright, that's a wrap.